We'll just go to teams that had the best drafts. Why don't you just throw out a couple teams that had the best drafts? I think the Bulls would be a part of your picks that are Ricky.
For their one pick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if I look at it and I have to throw 3 teams out there, I say 76ers had one hell of a draft. Taking Ben Simmons, taking Furkan, and taking Timothy Luwawu. I think those were fantastic. I'm going to throw the Suns in there as well. I think getting Marquise Chris and Dragan Bender is fantastic. And then you go down the line, and I think the Thunder also had the other third best draft, and they didn't even have a pick going into this first round.
The Thunder did a fantastic job. We talked that up in the other segment. I really liked the pick up by the Rockets for ZQ in the second round. I think that was a steal. Looking back on this, you guys are like, wow, how did he fall so far? I know you're going to hate me for it, but it's going to happen.
Boy eats a lot of cheeseburgers, but I might be able
he's
to
a twig right now, but the
twig.
man can shoot. And he's weirdly athletic for someone who's above 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
you got to give him credit.
Very true. I think
honestly, I'm against you on the 76ers. I feel like they fucked up by not taking Dejounte Murray. I think they missed a chance at getting a point guard.
Well, you guys were saying that, right? It was the one right before the Clipper pick.
They have cap. They have cap.
Unless they're going to go after like a Rondo or a Conley.
But when you have a team so young, it makes sense. Why go double shooting guard? It doesn't add up to me. I know they're crazy with their overseas, let's draft and stash.
Well, and with the 76ers, the big thing is Colangelo was like, we're going to do what we need to do to start competing now. No more of this trust in the process.
And yet they're still... The
one thing I find the funniest about the 76ers is we talked, who's getting moved before on draft day? Who's getting moved? Okafor and Noel are still there. And Embiid, but we didn't think Embiid was going to be in there. Okafor and Noel are still there. They're still there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll make a trade, though. I think Noel will be able to be moved, or Okafor will be able to move, and you'll be able to add a point guard. And again,
chances they don't make a move at all.
There is, and
I think there's a very good chance that they just hold what they've got. I think they've got a good young core.
Do you think they wait and see what they have in Embiid?
I think you have to.
Because maybe you wait, and if Embiid doesn't show up, then you can keep those two and trade Embiid or try to move him. And then if he pans out, then you could move one of the guys that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it.
I think it's a mid-year hold.
Maybe they did not make the trade because it's like, well, what if Embiid comes out? Or even like Sarge comes over and it's not a smooth transition. Then we're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have traded him.
I do want to throw out guys though, because if we look at guys that went undrafted in this draft, Gary Payton went undrafted.
I fucking love Gary Payton.
Anthony Barber went undrafted. Fred VanVleet, I know he's not an actual point guard; he's more of a shooter.
Shout out to the Illinois area, Rockford.
And drafted. And you could also throw out Yogi Ferrell and Ryan Arsenato from Villanova.
These guys will get workouts.
Not too great of a point guard, but
they'll get workouts, definitely. Come on, are we not forgetting the oldest man to play college basketball, Perry Ellis?
But we're talking more point guards. If you're saying, how are they going to fill in the point guard?
Fair enough.
I look at that first round, you get a ton of shooting. You get, obviously, the best player in the draft in Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I feel like they're just hedging their bets at shooting guard. Like, one of these two is going to pan out for us, and we'll be set. Which, fair enough, because... It looked like Furkan has a very limited range. I wasn't sure if he was just going to be a pure scorer, and I had those concerns about how well-rounded his game was. So I think Luwawu, all right, take him first. He's got a better all-around game, and Furkan can maybe just be a sharpshooter from the outside. And, well, I don't love it that they don't have a true point yet. You're right. There is an opportunity to go out and get one free agency, get one in workouts. If anybody can find talent, at this point, like, they're going to sift through a lot of guys in that 76ers roster.
You know who had a really good draft? And I know we're looking at it now at this point, and now most of the second round's done. Utah. Because here's the way I look at it. They had the 12th pick in the first round and the 42 pick in the second round. Well, they trade that second pick, and who do they get? They get George Hill from the Pacers. Who do they take in the second round? Isaiah Whitehead, a point guard. Yeah, could they have taken like a Dejounte Murray or a point guard in the first round? Yeah, but if you can ship that pick off, bring in a George Hill, and then bring in an Isaiah Whitehead, who in the second round at 42, that's good value. I think they've got to have a good draft.
Utah's also a young team, and bringing a guy in like George Hill would be better than a guy like Dejounte Murray because you're trying to compete.
Bring in some veterans.
Whitehead can come in and just be a scoring presence.
And I mean, they get the position that they were going to look in the first round. In the second, that's one that I saw, and I'm like, man, that is a good draft. That's a good
what about
draft
the late back picks for the Celtics going, DJ into Ben Bentil?
Well, see, I would say I love it because
he loves it.
That's what I specifically picked out the two players that you absolutely love.
See, you get Bentil and you get Demetrius Jackson. They said Bentil's going to compete for a a spot on the Celtics. And you get Demetrius Jackson, who's going to be able to back up Isaiah Thomas. But then again, look at what else the Celtics did. You get a future pick because you traded away the 31st pick and the 35th pick. That's a decent deal right there. But then again, look how much they fucked up in that first round. I like the Zizek pick. I'm messing up his pronunciation. I forget how they pronounce it. But Zizek from Croatia, I think he's a great rebounder. We'll see. He's a draft and stash again. But again, we talked about Gershon Yazbuli. You could have traded back and got him later. And then I think you fucked up getting Jaylen Brown. So I'm not too high on the Celtics draft. I love the two guys that they got late in the second, but then again,
good value in the second.
Will they be able to make
compete?
the team?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, I think Ben Benzel should be. I think Ben Benzel will make a team, sometime. But again, this is a playoff team. Will he be able to make the team?
I got a question for you, Sean, because of this is a player that I know you've been low on, and then I've got somebody in the second round that I hope makes the team and could possibly be a steal in the second round just because I really like him. What do you think of the Pacers taking your boy George Niang? That's the first thing I got to do. I say that jokingly because you hate him.
I don't hate him. Okay, George. If I know you're watching,
you were ragging on him in that Sweet 16 game.
People overhype him. Okay, is he
cheering for them Cavaliers?
Is he a tenacious player? Yes. Is he decent going to the basket? Yes. Is he somebody that wows me? No. Will he be able to kind of be hidden, and his flaws will be hidden on the Pacers team that I think made some pretty good moves? Maybe he'll be able to back up a guy like Thad Young and be decent there. Maybe he'll be able to back up a guy like Paul George, whether they play him at the 3 or the 4. I think he'll be able to be decent in Indiana, not Iowa State. He's from Iowa State, in Indiana. But then again, I mean, I think he might be. I think his best attribute will be his defense. I think that will be his best attribute. I don't think his offense will be shown that much.
And you know what's the second round pick I really love, and I hope the best for this kid, even though he's going to Brooklyn. Marcus Page, second round. That's a pick where it's like, man, if he can make the team and make something because of the situation, because the Nets aren't really that good, maybe he can be like, I'm not saying like phenomenal, but he can develop into a guy where Nets fans go, man, that guy was a pretty good pick in the second round.
I think you hit on the head. It's some of these guys going to bad teams are going to get a lot of minutes, and we're going to see a lot of them. And I'm not saying Michael Clark-Williams syndrome, but we're going to see somebody who's playing way too many minutes who's going to get inflated stats out of this. He's going to get paid. Definitely going to get paid.
But this is a guy that I'm saying, like, the thing that we talk about, like, with Denzel, with the Bulls and the leadership on Michigan State, he was the senior leader for Roy Williams' Tar Heels. Fair enough. If he can come in and maybe on a Nets team
he was up and down, though.
Yeah, but if he can come in on the Nets team and kind of develop into a leader on a team that's kind of like, I don't know where they're headed.
The Nets' future is kind of questionable. I'll agree with you on that. I think the big thing is, though, did they do enough this year by flipping the one pick over in the first round, and then does that set them up for what?
Oh, they're not going to compete.
25 wins this year again?
That's a lot.
Really?
That's a lot.
Yeah, you might be right on that one. I take that back.
A lot.
Well, and they're going to have to do, the same thing they did this year, next year, because they gave next year's pick to the Celtics.
We're going to see another Lopez
We're
brother
be traded. We're going to see the Celtics fuck up another top 3 pick.
Oh, God.
Just throwing out there.
Again,
I mean, we were tired. We've been watching the draft. It's 11:30. This has gone long.
Yep.